a bright Egyptian teen, had grown up under the shadow of her mother, Samira, a former beauty queen whose fame was legendary in their Cairo neighborhood. Samira was known not only for her beauty, but also for her strong-willed, passionate nature. She had won every pageant in her youth, even representing Cairo at the national level. But after a rare skin condition forced her to step away from the limelight, her dreams shifted. Samira poured her hopes into Ayana, expecting her daughter to carry on the family legacy. At first, Ayana was eager to please her mother. The early years of childhood pageants were exciting, filled with beautiful costumes and trips across Egypt. But as Ayana grew older, she started to feel the weight of her mother's expectations. Samira's once kind encouragement turned into relentless pressure and constant comparisons. "Keep your posture perfect, Ayana," Samira would say, "just like I did at your age." With every passing year, Samira's praise became tinged with resentment, as if Ayana's youth reminded her too much of what she had lost. One night, while searching for a costume in her mother's closet, Ayana stumbled upon an old silk quilt, richly embroidered with delicate, intricate patterns. She noticed something odd. Woven into the silk were strands of hair dark and fine. She felt a chill run through her as she held it. When she asked Samira about it, her mother seemed startled but brushed it off, saying it was a family heirloom passed down through generations. Ayana didn't press further, but the discovery haunted her. As Ayana approached her final year of high school, the tension between her and Samira reached a breaking point. Tired of feeling like she was living her mother's life, she asked her father if she could spend her last year in Johannesburg, South Africa, where he had recently moved for work. Reluctantly, Samira agreed, though it was clear she felt hurt and abandoned. In Johannesburg, Ayana found herself for the first time. She reveled in her freedom, exploring new friendships and passions. She met Khalil, a charming, down-to-earth classmate who quickly became her closest friend. Khalil had a knack for making Ayana laugh, and he encouraged her to let go of the pressures she had grown up with. For the first time, Ayana began to see herself outside the rigid mold her mother had cast for her. One evening, Khalil surprised her with tickets to a concert by her favorite Egyptian singer, something that felt like a slice of home in a foreign land. She was thrilled, until Samira called, demanding to know where she was. When Ayana admitted she was at the concert, her mother's anger erupted. "You're supposed to be focused on your studies, not running around with some boy," Samira shouted. The distance only seemed to make her mother's grip feel stronger. Ayana hung up, feeling torn between the expectations of her past and the possibilities of her future. As her relationship with Khalil deepened, Ayana confided in him about the quilt and the strange strands of hair woven into it. Khalil listened quietly, and then gently suggested that maybe the quilt represented her mother's attempt to keep control over her. "It sounds like a way of tying you down, keeping you connected even when you want to break free," he said. Ayana shivered at his words, but knew they held a painful truth. The next holiday, Ayana returned to Cairo. One night, determined to confront her fears, she went into her mother's room and took the quilt from its hidden place. She noticed there were even more strands of hair now, her own hair, unmistakably added to the quilt. Furious and feeling betrayed, she confronted Samira. "Why are you holding on to me like this?" she demanded. "Why can't you let me live my own life?" Samira finally broke down, admitting the quilt was her way of staying connected to her daughter, of ensuring Ayana couldn't leave her behind like her own dreams had. "I just wanted you to have something of me, something that would remind you of where you come from," she confessed. But Ayana was determined. That night, with trembling hands, she threw the quilt into the fireplace, watching the flames consume it. She felt a strange sense of liberation as the last remnants of her mother's control turned to ash. For the first time, Ayana felt free to create her own path. After returning to South Africa, Ayana and Khalil's friendship blossomed into something more. With his unwavering support, Ayana found herself not only excelling academically, but also discovering new passions. She realized she didn't have to follow her mother's dreams. She could create her own legacy. Khalil encouraged her to reconnect with her Egyptian roots in her own way, blending her heritage with the new life she was building. Years later, as Ayana graduated from university, Her parents attended her ceremony. Samira looked on, a mix of pride and bittersweet acceptance in her eyes. She had finally understood that letting go of Ayana meant allowing her to find her own identity. Ayana's heart swelled as she stood on the stage, knowing she had broken free from the constraints of her past, while still cherishing the culture and heritage she had grown up with. In Khalil's hand, she felt a steady presence, a reminder that true love and support came from those who allowed her to be herself. Ayana had embraced her family's legacy, but she had done so on her own terms, forging a new path that was wholly, beautifully her own.